Watch the series finale of X-Men next Saturday morning. Check your local listings.
It won't take long when there's a song to help you set the pace.
This is pathetic.
Where we used to live. Why did you keep the mousetrap?
So whistle while you work.
Life could be worse.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down.
I'm bag of pixie dust. Contraband.
Join in, folks. It's yodeling time.
They're gonna do the Mary Poppins thing. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it.
It's such fun to hum a happy working song. A happy working song.
Magic mirror on the wall. The fairest one of all.
Oh, bitch, you killed Kenny.
Kenny.
You fat hoe.
I get it. I'm not persecuted. I'm just an ass.
If you haven't subscribed to Lorraine yet and you're watching this, you suck.
Well, you guys definitely don't suck for being here. So thank you so very much. This is the Spice Lounge show. And no, your eyes are not deceiving you. Yes, this is a different day. Yes, this is a different time. It's officially the fall schedule. So since we're at a later time, I expect the conversation to be somewhat even spicier. So I'm pretty sure you guys will not mind. We've got a lot of stuff, of course, to cover. Of course, the two big stories to cover. One, James Spader is coming back as Ultron, as if dragging Robert Downey Jr. back wasn't enough. Hey, we got James Spader coming. Also, have you seen that abomination called The Crow remake? Well, your girl fell on the grenade and saw it. And let me tell you, I got some things to say about that particular film, outside the fact that it should have never been freaking made, but they didn't ask me. So we've got a bunch of hot topics, of course, to talk about to kick things off. We keep you up to date and current with what's going on in pop culture and media. But before I get started, let me bring in my amazing co-host, and that would be Erica of Erica and Rob. How you doing, my dear?
Doing good. Trying to keep my earpiece from popping out. It's popping out of my ear.
Well, you sound amazing. You look amazing. And I so want that Mickey Mouse in the back with the fall decor.
As long as they still got him in the parks, you can nab one with a discount. Unlike me, I didn't get the discount because, Disney doesn't allow AP discounts online anymore.
Y'all suck. Y'all suck. I'm being cheap about that. I am going to keep circling the character warehouse because they're gonna hit. I know they are because, man, they're sitting all over the places on the shelves in the parks and nobody seems anxious to pick them up.
I figured these would sell over like the larger pumpkins.
They're like $60, $70. People are like, I don't think so. Yeah.
remember paying that much for it.
Yeah.
But I got it
think
on the
that is-
release. I don't know if they were cheaper because sometimes they just hike the price up as like the season goes on.
I know it wasn't cheap. It was around 60 because you know how I know that? Because it didn't come home with me. I looked at the price tag and I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for that. But I am so glad you're here. So glad you guys are out there in the chat. So good to see you. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share the stream out because yes, the Spice Lounge is at a different day, different time. Same great spicy talk. And one, I want to thank Marilyn M for becoming a new Mediano Mafia channel member. Thank you so very much. Mediano Mafia channel members, that's the mid-tier memberships of my channel. You guys get extra videos and some extra watch parties as well. So glad. Thank you for supporting my channel. And thank you, Ruby Who, for supporting my channel by sharing out all the love. I appreciate it. Appreciate it so very much. And I see Marilyn right there saying hello. And thank you again so much, Ruby Who, for that gifted membership. Sure do appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Let's see. Run also through the chat because I love seeing you guys real quick because we got to get started. Let's see. I see Kimberly Ann Hart. I see you there, my dear. I see Nita who says, curious to hear everyone's opinion of The Crow. Well, Nita, we are going to be talking about that because I'm pretty freaking irritated to say the absolute least. Erica, I know you haven't seen the new one.
I saw the old one last night, and I guess I'm glad I got a flat tire in the front yard because I probably would have gone today to see the new one just to compare. Sounds like I didn't miss out on anything.
No. You would have, if you were here with me, you would have missed out on my rantings. Like, how much time do we have left?
At least if I would have gone out to eat afterwards. Good.
And drink some too, because daggone it.
We would have needed one after that, probably.
Totally would have needed it. Let's see. Northman JH, I see you. Tom F, I see you. Let's see. Mark Daly, I see you. Of course, there in Panhandle, aka South Georgia. So good to see you here, my dear. And yes, thank you, Snortapoopus, for bringing this up. Bird of Prey, I've seen him on Loki's channel, and I know of him especially for all of his Star Wars knowledge. And unfortunately, it looks like he passed away. So I'm very, very, very sad to hear that. He was such a wonderful and fun person to watch on stream, listen, watch his chats, his conversations in the chats. He's been around for quite some time, so it is really, really sad to hear of his passing. Let's see, we got Coach O Dragon in the chat. Good to see you, Coach O Dragon. Hello. Let's see. Erica is in the chat, of course, and up here with me, we've got Little Mouse 27. I see you there, my dear. And we have also got Berry Place 28. Hello. Saying hi to all of us and some folks there in the chat. If you missed the Resort Recon live show on Saturdays, that's on my channel on Saturdays at noon. Theme park experts I have on my panel. Berry Place did a great job showing us all the cool stuff that they have at Knott's Scary Farm.
I missed it. I have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, watch the replay. He got some really, really great footage of, I guess, like their announcement night, so to speak. And it's, oh my gosh, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's great. So thank you for that. And we've got Emily Kruger in the chat. Good to see you. We have got Melissa Bell as well saying hi. We have got Sunset Harbor Entertainment. Theo from Sunset Harbor here. How's it going? Hopefully the stream runs smoothly. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I don't know what generator or what switch Universal Orlando through last night, but half of my stream was like a slideshow.
Oh.
And usually when I'm at Universal Orlando, my broadcasts are like clear as a bell. They're better resolution than at Disney. And for like a half an hour, my stream was jacked up, and then boom, all of a sudden it disappeared. So I think this one should run better, since I am plugged in to the router on some super fast internet. Unfortunately, when I'm out there in the field, I'm at the mercy of my 5G and the satellites that it's bouncing off of, unfortunately. But everything should be fixed tomorrow, 10 a.m. We're going to be back over at Universal Orlando, because they will be opening the tribute store for pass holders tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to take y'all with me. Going to take you with me. Hey, Soul Assassin, good to see you. Good to see you here. And my current Disney store, Goodwill. Dude, you are not mistaken, especially where I live. I found that out. I'm like, what? I'm going through I was like, this was on sale. Yeah.
You need to go to the Antique Mall, the Lakeland Antique Mall.
I know.
That's the old school merch.
That's like my Graceland for Disney, Disneyana. I saw pictures that
you will spend hours in there. Just out. You can get lost in that place.
I'm gonna have to bring a snack. Yeah, Berry Place. That's pretty. That is not cool. And I find myself spending less and less and less and less over there. So we shouldn't waste our money on the Crow movie.
That's what it
sounds Only
like.
If you were buying a physical media or digital media copy of the original with Brandon Lee. That's the only money that you should spend on the Crow. That new movie that is in the theaters is an insult to it's an insult to everything the original Crow was about. And we will talk about it, because I got some thoughts. Especially this one right here, Soul Assassin, because not only did the film do horribly,
I read that.
The director decided to go with hey, we're gonna blame the fans. Yeah, blame the money, right? Because you couldn't do your job. Nope. Hello, everyone. You listening tonight? Have a great one. Well, you too. So, folks, are we ready? Hey, RC, are we ready for the hot topics? Ready for the hot topics? Okay, so let's do the hot topics. 28 of you folks in here watching, thank you so very much. This is the Spice Lounge show. We got to hit our hot topics just like my idol, Wendy Williams, the queen of all media. So the first thing I have up here for hot topics from the Superman Twitter account, the man you knew, the story you didn't, the Christopher Reeve story, only in theater September 21st and 25th. Tickets now available. I cannot wait.
I want to see that so bad.
How wonderful is this? For me, Christopher Reeve was always going to be Superman to me.
Yeah.
I love him. I love Henry Cavill. I do. I love Tyler Hoechlin. I do. But Christopher Reeve, he was the first. Just the way that he portrayed Superman, the hot dork. Yeah, because I did. I did, because it's just like, dude, really, but he's so cute. I have to talk to him. So I loved him. He's just an idol. And when I think about myself as a kid watching the original Superman movie, not Superman 3, we're gonna forget that one existed, but Superman 1 and Superman 2. Oh my gosh, I just Wow. What were your impressions when you first saw Christopher Reeve as a Superman?
Oh gosh, I was little, but I remember a snippet, and I remember just kind of being in, of course, I thought Superman was real, at that age.
Yeah, me too.
But I knew humans couldn't fly either, so I never connected those dots.
Oh,
yeah. I always attributed Superman to him growing up.
yeah, he was just. I loved seeing him play this role, and when he had his accident, it was just
That was devastating.
that
I
was really.
remember when it was all over the news. I remember that.
And even with all of that, he would still go out and, speak to people. He would make presentations. He was still out there, and it's like the public just absolutely loved them. Oh, Somewhere in Time, that made me cry. I was a kid watching that. Oh my gosh. Somewhere in Time, he did that with Jane Seymour, I think. I watched that as a kid. I was like bawling in tears.
That title sounds so familiar to me.
He went back in time. I think it was some kind of coin that he got his hands on. And when he touched the coin, it sent him back to like the 1800s. And he falls in love with Jane Seymour's character. But I think what the coin was, if he ever found the coin, he would have to go back to his own time. And I'm not going to spoil the story, but let's just say
that just sounds really familiar, but my brain's like fogging like crazy.
It's such a wonderful, wonderful romantic story. And
my question, I do have a question. Do you think this will come out to streaming or some kind of digital download for us folks out here and overseas?
I would think so. If these folks are smart, and I believe that they are, especially considering how many fans Christopher Reeve has around the world, I'm pretty sure something will be coming. So I would say, to help even push more awareness, hey, you need to release this, worldwide. Please go see this in theaters on the 21st and the 25th. I plan to. This clip of him on Johnny Carson, I'm actually going to play this because I don't think I'll get claimed, but it's hilarious. I love it.
Important to become a serious classical actor, unless, of course, they offer you a load of money to do something else.
I love that. He's talking about John Houseman, and he's got like the accent down, perfectly. And I just love that. Somewhere in Time was filmed at the Grand Hotel in Mackinac Island in Michigan. I was there. Oh, really?
Wow. So cool.
Wow. Yeah, I have to say, outside of Superman, watch Somewhere in Time and bring some tissues. Bring some tissues. Because that's such a good one. Yeah, I see, Nita. Okay, it's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah. When that happened, when he found it, oh, I was all messed up. I was inconsolable. My mother's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "It's just so sad." And she was worried because I would watch horror movies and not really go anywhere, and I wrapped up in it. But I see this and I just start. And I just started crying. It was so good. So good. Buried Place, Somewhere in Time is a great movie. Yes, it is.
Mhm.
It truly is. It's gorgeous. The costuming, especially if you like period costumes, gorgeous. Before there was a Bridgerton, there were these epic period pieces like this. Yeah, it is sad. It is sad.
Yeah, Bridgerton's like, it started out good and then it just,
It was in the toilet. It
yeah.
really was. I'm just like, I think
And-
I'll read the book.
And the whole community that reads the book says, "Ooh," they are like,
Yeah,
they're really
I believe
angry.
it.
I would be too if I read the books and saw the show.
Watch party for Superman to commemorate the new Reeve movie.
That's an idea.
That is. I'm gonna have to put that on my. Oh, Lord, I have to put that on my schedule. I have so many things that are coming up on my schedule for watch parties because we just have a cool time with the watch party. So for folks who don't know, there's some watch parties that I have live here on the channel, usually on a Saturday evening with Retro Nerd Girl, and then there are watch parties that I have for channel members where we all watch it together. So stay tuned for that. And yes, I've seen their son. He is absolutely gorgeous. Well, that's Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. I love how it says super/man, the Christopher Reeve story. So folks, please do check that out. Go over to christopherreeve.org. That's where you can go and get your ticket. So next hot topic, and this of course is Superman related, although we're moving over here to James Gunn's Superman, which I really don't have an opinion on it because I'm not a DC nerd. I know Gentleman in Dark Council are just like, what? You all know that I'm a Marvel chick. I'm not a DC chick. But when it comes to DC, I know there's Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. So I know those three. This is Skylar Gisondo, who I don't know who he is. I haven't seen him in anything, but this is the guy who is now cast in James Gunn's Superman. And all I can think of is at least he's somewhat of a redhead. What do you think of the casting, Erica?
I mean, he looks like the character. I Googled it last night because I'm not really super familiar with, comics in general. But he looked like the character, and his hair, I think, could be a little bit more red. But because in the cartoon, it looked really red.
Yeah, because
brighten it a little bit. But I mean, he looks like the character.
Yeah, it was like this flaming red hair, like Jimmy Olsen. He looked like a really, really bright ginger. This one, it's more auburn, and I don't know if it's to go with the color palette because I look at the clothes that he's wearing and it looks too. I'm thinking that they kind of muted it that way, but it's like I'll allow it. Auburn is in the red family of hair, so it's just like, while I wish that it was redder, it's not, but it could have been worse. They could have cast a black guy as Jimmy Olsen and said, gosh. I said it because some of y'all were thinking it. Okay.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, there's some things you really don't mess about. And Jimmy Olsen needs to be a white kid with red hair, Let's see. I would hate to be the actor who is tasked with competing with Chris Reeve. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm still annoyed that oh my gosh. Forgive me, that Henry Cavill wasn't kept on as Superman. That I'm still salty and pissed off with that, but we'll see what happens with what James Gunn does with this, because I'm not a fan of Zack Snyder's Superman
Mm.
at all. At all. I'm not a fan. Man of Steel is freaking
Yeah, I
horrible.
liked Man of Steel. We saw it in the theaters with the kids, and I expected another one to come out at some point, and it just, I don't know, all of a sudden, just nothing until now.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, what? Oh yeah, I knew about that. Yeah, I knew about that. That's why I said what I said. That's why I said what I said. But yeah, I'm glad Jimmy Olsen is a redhead, and so far so good. Well, jury's still out. We'll see. We'll see. Again, I'm just glad he wasn't cast as as black guy. We all know that. We all know that. Well, the next hot topic that we have, and I am so flipping excited about this. Erica, have you seen the Sonic films at all?
No, I haven't. I've been wanting to for so long.
Oh my gosh, they are such great family films, and I have to emphasize the word family films because Sonic comes to Earth and he basically gets adopted into an Earth family, and I'm trying not to cry, but the scene where the little girl gives him Sonic her red shoes because Sonic is like his feet hurt and stuff, like she's like, here, you can borrow mine, and it's his iconic red shoes. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I said I'm gonna cry.
I
But
almost watched them today earlier. I was like, I should probably just watch the other two movies, and I got caught up doing other stuff.
well, if you get a chance, definitely watch those two movies. The casting is great. They dropped a trailer for Sonic 3. Is in this movie, Shadow is going to be voiced by Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
yeah. So it looks like it's going to be so much fun. If you've ever played the games,
I did on my Game Gear.
Flashback to the game. You did? Yeah. It
I had a
will
Sega
give
Game Gear.
you.
That thing is dead now.
I have it.
The screen's just like, and my son's like, I could fix that. I'm like looking at him, do whatever you want. Just whatever.
Oh my
Have fun.
gosh. I love it. I have it for my PS4, and sometimes I'll just jump on there, and I just love running through the rings and stuff. Say I did it.
And then
It's
hearing
just,
that. I like that.
it is so much fun along
It's like
with the
oddly
music.
satisfying.
Yes, it's crazy. He is the original parkour. All right. It does. Yeah. Yeah. This is awesome. It's coming out December 20th.
Well, I got
And
plenty of time to watch other movies then and catch up.
yes, definitely watch those two movies before you see the third one. You probably could see the third one without seeing the other two, but you should check out the first two. They came around at a time when things weren't all that great. I think with the first one that came out like on the tail end of the pandemic, and
Okay. That makes sense.
when you had let me see, because I'm not.
I don't remember hearing much about the second one. Maybe that's why, because of the
Okay. Yeah. They did the second one. The second one had Idris Elba as Knuckles, and he will be back in this third one as well, which you'll see in the trailer. Oh my gosh, he's so funny. You could tell these guys had a blast playing this one. Thank you, Effin Punk, for that 99-cent super sticker. I can't say the whole thing, but I love you. It's got the smiley face with the devil horns on it. So thank you so much for supporting my channel with that super sticker, my dear. I love it.
I'm sorry, I saw that name and I'm like, I know of you.
You and me both. You and me both, my dear. And yeah, they probably didn't. No. he is just, Jim Carrey is just having too much fun. So here's the crew. We got Sonic, Tails, well, Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails in that order from left to right. This is going to be such a fun film, and again, it's a great message of family as well. That's in this film. A diverse cast in this film, but they do not harp on that fact. They show it, and that's all they have to freaking do. It's fun, it's supportive, it's a great time. The end of the first movie, of course, all the big kids, let's say, like my age, when they saw who showed up at the end credits of the first movie, we were all freaking out. Kids are looking like, why are you so excited? What's wrong with you? They're looking like, what is wrong with you? So yeah, that is going to be that's going to be the best. So Nita says that's my favorite word. But alas, I try to behave. So anyway, guess what's going to be in theaters December 20th?
Sonic, right? Isn't that what you said?
There's another one that's going to be there in time for Sonic.
Dang. Oh, wait. I know which one you're talking about. I think I know. Is it Mufasa?
Yep.
Mufasa,
And
yeah.
this meme is so darn perfect. I have to thank Camera Girl for sending this to me.
Oh my
if
God.
you're not aware, if you are not aware of how much the kids are into this, the trailer dropped on TikTok. Soon as it dropped on TikTok, she sent me the link to TikTok.
Wow.
And then she sent me this.
Gosh.
Birds of Prey. I saw 10 minutes of that and said, no, I'm done. Sonic 1 came out. Then Morbius. Sonic 2 came out. Too bad, Mufasa.
Wow.
That is, they are going to get buried. Have
What's
you
your
seen the
own fault?
Mufasa trailer?
Yeah, I'm like, gosh.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's like, why y'all wanna
Even the
do this
very
mess
first
again?
short little teaser when they released, I was already saw discrepancies. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? So all of a sudden he doesn't have a lineage anymore, like a bloodline to. Yeah, it was.
No,
I'm like, yeah, no,
like,
I'm not.
He's
watching
gone
that.
from being, from this long line of kings to.
Yeah, I throw that out the
this.
window.
No, at the
I'm like, why?
Before me. As usual, Disney doesn't know their audience. They're not trying to know
They
their
don't know their own
audience.
stories. It's just amnesia or stupidity. I mean, like, I'm really not understanding it. It's just irritating because there's no common sense, and I get really irritated when there's no common sense.
No, I think what you have is well, they're not run by creatives anymore. They're just run by merchandise people. And they don't understand the reason why The Lion King was so powerful. Even Lion King 1.5, because I freaking like that one too. That was hilarious. If you haven't seen it.
I watched that one. I had the soundtrack too. The second one.
That was great.
It was good.
But this here, I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard Pro's opinion about Mufasa. I do not believe that it's going to do well. It will make money, but
you think it's going to make money?
It'll make some, because they'll have it will make some money, but compared to Sonic,
You're being a lot more optimistic than me.
Buried. I mean, look at it like just like what I said. Camera Girl, who is of that like Gen Z demographic, the trailer for this dropped on TikTok, and her and all her friends who have played the Sonic video games, they've been excited about the Sonic movies ever since the first one came out. And Mufasa is like, we can just go back and watch the Lion King animated. Why do we want to watch like a live action? So no. Nah, Mufasa will make some money in the theater. Break even? No. I do not think it's
No.
gonna. I don't think it's gonna break even at all.
You bring up a good point and an observation I've been noticing for some time now, for several years. Gen Z, and this is when I was working with teens and youth ministry. It seems like Gen Z, they're really into retro stuff, like what we were into as Gen Xers. I don't know what it is, what parents are doing that have just what's passed on. They love it. I went to my son's some of his school dances as a chaperone, and these kids, at least I can't speak for like the civilian counterparts within the military, and I was shocked to hear how many of the songs going all the way back to the 70s, these kids knew every word. I mean, from like Aerosmith to songs from the 90s. I was just sitting here like, oh my gosh. And they really like, well, to them it's old stuff, but I mean it's what we grew up with, and actually what our parents grew up with, like the boomers. And I've really been kind of pleasantly surprised at Gen Z.
Yeah, it is even down to the fashion, because when I look in the stores, I'm just like, when did clothing become so freaking ugly? I don't remember it being like so on the it's like 90s clothes. I remember
early
that.
90s,
And if you,
that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air look, that came back with a vengeance.
it did. And folks, if you don't think it's come back, I will.
It's in now. That like the TV show Moesha, what she wore, the high-waisted jeans, and they were not flared, but they were more like the almost like a wide leg with the crop tops, or we called them half shirts back then, and now they're calling them crop tops. But yeah, the girls are wearing that now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like the 90s came back.
They're wearing that, like the athletic gear, where it's like the updated like baseball, football jackets, jerseys, clothes. If you think it's not coming back, go look at a website called Shein. All right. That is made for Gen Zers and their Gen X parents.
And flare jeans are back in. Maybe not like the low cut ones, but it's like the high waist, which I prefer the high waisted ones. But yeah, the flare jeans are like, they're saying skinny jeans is like out. Like,
oh yeah, it's totally out. It's totally out.
And I still wear them.
Like, wow.
I still wear them. I age myself when I wear them.
Yes, Emily, I do remember that one. That one was good too. I did like the sequel, animal music version of Romeo and Juliet. So yeah, I did like that one. That worked well, but that was still back in the Eisner era, when they made a lot of direct to video stuff, but it was still good to watch, Hey, Amanda. Yeah, that is Erica.
Hi,
so gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing how much some of this stuff is coming back, especially with retro gaming and all of that. But yeah, Sonic is going to make money. Sonic is going to make a crap ton of money, and like I said, Keanu Reeves is Shadow in Sonic 3. It's going to be great. It's going to. I cannot wait. I'll forgive him for voicing Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4. But speaking of Toy Story 4, and let's see. Speaking of Toy Story 4, because I want to get to this before I forget. We all knew Quentin Tarantino was pretty based, but he's just saying what a lot of us have been thinking anyway. So Quentin Tarantino refuses to watch Toy Story 4 because Toy Story 3 is one of the best movies I've ever seen and a perfect trilogy ender. Have you seen Toy Story 3?
No, I've seen all of them, but now they've all gotten convoluted. But yeah, I remember the third one being, okay, well, this is over. Then they... Well, I thought they did come out with a fourth.
They
And
did.
they're
I
on their
tried.
5th, right? This is the 5th one
Yes.
they're coming out with.
Yes.
Because it was a little sporky, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Forky. He wanted to
Yeah.
go in the trash. Yeah, Carlos, I don't. As a matter of fact, I am. A lot of people are the same mind. Like I remember when Toy Story 3 came out, and I went to see that. If you weren't bawling by the end of that movie, there was something wrong with you because of just how you thought it was gonna end when they're like in the incinerator and they're just like, we are all gonna die.
Yeah.
And all the toys just start holding hands. And I'm just like, I can't believe this is in a kids movie. Holy crap. But yeah,
I
it
just don't
was
know what
good
else
and
there
perfect.
is I don't know what else I have left to storyline for toys that come to life. They've already gone through the cycle of a toy's life with the first 3 movies. Like,
It's like,
I mean,
why? And Andy passed his toys on, and he grew up. It's like with Sarge and the rest of them. They're just like, Andy's grown up. Our mission is over. We're out. And they literally just like parachuted out. They were gone. And it was perfect. But man, the fourth one, the fourth one, I don't basically Bo Peep's story. It's like why? It's like why nobody really cared. I won't say nobody, but let's just say it was like why it didn't need to exist. It ended perfectly with 3. You had a good nap, Marilyn.
I read that.
It was bad. I didn't like it. Go and Shogi says, I didn't enjoy Toy Story 3. I'm that guy. Well, you always got to have one guy, right? Right? I will
mean, they could have
say.
ended it with the second one too.
They could. You're right.
They could have ended it there too.
They could, because a lot of people. Well, I know a lot of people were talking about why is there a 3? You had a 2, and then you saw the story in Toy Story 3, and it's kind of like okay. But the main issue that I have with Toy Story 3 is just like why give the toys to Bonnie? It's like it didn't really seem to fit in a way with giving the toys to her. I don't know, for some reason that seemed like a little off to me. I would have liked it better if it was some neighbor kid that kept like trying to take his toys, who really wanted to play with the toys. Andy, you don't play with them. How come I can't play with them? And
or they end up at Goodwill.
Yeah.
And some random kid, buys them.
Mm-hmm. Spanish bus lady. It was funny. Oh my gosh. Duke Kaboom, Canada's greatest stunt man. Yeah, Keanu slayed it with that. He really did slay it with that one. I like that. Go and Shogi, thank you so much for $4.99. Lotso got screwed. He went through hell and high water to get back to his girl just to be replaced. I'd be bitter too. Oh, dang, I forgot about that. Huh. And in the end, he got strapped to the front end of an 18-wheeler. Yeah, I'd be kind of bitter having bugs in my teeth too. I get you. Thanks for the super chat, Going Shogi. That's a good point. Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch Toy Story 3. Because man, that went right over my head.
I'm having vague flashbacks. I saw it when it first came out and I haven't seen it again since. I usually don't rewatch a lot of these. I watch them once and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, another cool thing about the Toy Story 3 script, which is probably why it's as gut punching as it is. If you ever watch a film called Little Miss Sunshine, the guy who wrote that movie, the script for that movie, he actually won an Academy Award for it, I believe, wrote the script for Toy Story 3. Little Miss Sunshine is one of the best dysfunctional family films I have seen
Google this.
in a long time. It is so much so
Oh wow,
it's a
that just
blast.
came right up. First thing,
Yeah.
2006.
Yep. And Alan Arkin does some of
Yeah.
his best work in
Yeah.
that movie.
We were in Japan in 2006, so that explains why I missed.
It's a really fun movie to watch. Although, you know, they've got the granddad in there who really should not be doing cocaine at his age, but apparently he still thinks that he should do that. And it's all about a beauty contest called Little Miss Sunshine.
Well, that looks funny. Like I'm silent, but yeah, it looks really good.
The fact that they have to, because something went wrong with the bug van, so they have to because it's a manual transmission, so they all have to run and push the button and get.
Okay, that made sense in one of the scenes.
Oh my gosh. You got to check it out. It's hilarious. Thank you, Liberty Hall's Cat, for gifting that one Reina Creole membership. I do appreciate that, folks. Make sure you thank Liberty Hall's Cat and also thank Ruby Hoove if you got a membership gifted from them. So thank you. I love it when you guys share the love. Love it when you guys share the love. Awesome. Love it. And yes, that's right. It is good for 30 days and then that expires. So kind of keep that in mind, but lots of stuff to watch for channel members, especially the Welcome to Florida podcast. That becomes members only 48 hours after airing. So it's a whole podcast list of all the
that
crazy
Florida woman one was great.
Oh, with the bag of drugs.
That was great. The Florida woman. I was like, what? I even Googled my birthday and Florida woman. I forgot what came up, but it was hilarious. I almost hit you up on X and DM'd it to you because it was so funny.
Bag of drugs, crack charcuterie. I just can't. It's too funny. So, yeah, to quote Quentin Tarantino here, he said, in the case of Toy Story, the third one is just magnificent. And if you've seen the other two, it's just devastating, which is true. The thing is, then 3 years later or something, I love how he said that, they did a fourth, and I have no desire to see it. You literally ended the story as perfect as you could. So, no, I don't care if it's good. I'm done.
Yeah, I don't blame them. We're like fatigued as an audience with these multiverses and universes, and it's just a different version of the same thing. It's just copy and paste, and it's just gotten to where is there not anything original out there coming to the screen? No. That's how I feel anyways.
I think that Disney or Hollywood in general used to be okay with taking risks on things.
Yeah.
And it seems like they do not want to take the artistic risks anymore. They want to play it safe, and they want to do
because they're afraid of offending somebody, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of.
I don't know.
We're bored. It's like, what's the trade? Is the trade-off worth it?
Hey guys, good to see you. Bosco Scenario says, hola everyone. Well, hola mi hermano. I hope you are doing great. Check out Bosco Scenario's channel. He's got a show on Wednesdays at, I believe, at 8 p.m. Eastern. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Hangout. So you got to check out his show. From what I remember, and I had asked when I took a screenwriting class, I did ask my professor. I was just like, "What is up with all the sequels?" Because I'm just like, I just don't get it. And he said, "Well, for some people in Hollywood, sequels are attractive because there's a lot of stock footage they can pull from to put in the sequel. So if there's a location shoot that they had in the first one, they're like, oh, you know what, we could just use that one. We can use that one. We can reuse that one.
So it's cheap, basically. It's cheaper and easier.
Exactly. It's cheaper. It's easier. It's kind of like how certain films you'll hear like certain popular music.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they get that because they also own the rights to that music sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So they don't have to pay royalties on it. But again, there used to be a point in time in Hollywood where it's like, okay, you know, money wise, if you can make the sequel work, we've already got a sunk cost into it, you know. So like we can just make another one and make a sequel. But now it's just like, we're just going to hash it over and put up some like half-ass story and throw it out there and say we did something. It's like with the live action remakes. Okay, there's no real risk there. It's the same story that they're going to tell, except put it in live action. And
I was excited years ago when they made the announcement that they were going to, you know, turn a lot of their classics into these live actions. And I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, see like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty as in a live action form. And they did great with Cinderella. Wasn't that the first one?
That was the first one.
Yeah, that is rewatchable. I love that one. And I expected the rest to just kind of, oh, this one's good. And the rest of them. And then they came out with Maleficent and I was like, that's different. That kind of blew me away. I'm like, I thought we were doing Sleeping Beauty. So we are, but we aren't. And yeah.
I was so not happy.
I was disappointed. I mean, I watched it. It was good, but it was just, I'm like, but it's not Sleeping Beauty. And your star character is Aurora, not Maleficent. You know,
Aladdin was fun. It was okay to watch. Aladdin is like Princess Jasmine is my favorite Disney princess.
Yeah.
And the remake, while it could have been much worse, it was okay. But no, it wasn't. It wasn't like that one.
I didn't understand throughout the movie. It had this very Bali culture.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I didn't like
not
that.
Middle Eastern. That's a different culture. I'm like, what are they doing? I guess I didn't want to bring the Middle Eastern culture into it for, I don't know, maybe political reasons. But that kind of threw me off.
They might have, because if you remember with Aladdin, with the cartoon,
yeah, they changed the animated. Song. I remember
they changed the first song. Because where they say, if they cut off your ear, if they don't like your face, it's barbaric. But hey, it's home.
Yeah,
and they took that out.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, that's pretty gangster. But, they didn't want to show like the Middle Eastern belly dancing, which would have fit perfectly because the guy was the Sultan.
It was the sound of the music because it's just a different type of music. And to me, it didn't fit. I was like, even in the cartoon, I'm like, at least I got the music better in the cartoon. Yeah, I was, my sister, she hated it. She's like, she got like 10 minutes in and she said I turned it off. I was just disgusted with the whole thing. I was like, geez, I at least watched the whole thing just to see it through.
I did. I watched the whole thing. I said, maybe it'll get better.
I know.
Maybe it'll get better.
Part. Let's get to a whole new world, maybe.
They effed up all the songs for me. So they just did. They just did. Hey, Angela, I just couldn't. But yeah, to wrap it up, Quentin Tarantino pretty much said what a lot of us already thought. But speaking of, not that it's necessarily a remake, but according to Hollywood Reporter, their Heat Vision blog, James Spader returning as Ultron for Marvel's Vision series. So to catch people up a little bit, if you've watched WandaVision, you saw, White Vision. He didn't have a purpose, and in the middle of the darn show, he just took off and no one saw him again. And that was it. But apparently, Terry Matalas, who was the showrunner for Picard season 3, which I actually liked, Picard season 1 and 2, they're abominations. Don't even bother watching that. Season 3 was great. Terry Matalas, I thought, did a really great job. I actually enjoyed watching that. He's going to be showrunner for this Disney Plus Marvel show, which I believe is going to be titled, oh my gosh, Vision Quest, I think they're going to title that. So that's what they're going to title that. Ultron. First of all, have you seen Avengers Age of Ultron, Erica?
So I live a very sheltered life. I have not seen any Marvel movie. The only Marvel movie I've seen was X-Men in the 90s.
Oh, that's okay. I totally skipped over Ultron and most of the Avengers movies because I just didn't care. But after I watched Infinity War, there was so much stuff that I was missing. I was like, okay, I need to go back and watch it. So I went and I watched Avengers Age of Ultron. And there's two things that I liked about that film. One, Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark wearing the t-shirt with Bruce Lee at the turntables, with the DJ turntable. I said, I need that shirt. I need that shirt in my life. That was one. The second thing was James Spader doing the voice of Ultron. Ultron, from what I can recall, and you guys can help me out with this, Ultron was basically a Stark Industries security program that became sentient and basically destroyed a good percentage of Jarvis. So it's pretty freaking scary. I thought so. But even creepier was James Spader, because I love James Spader's voice. He can just be so freaking creepy. I just defended Disney. I need a shower. Yeah, I didn't read this part of the comics. I didn't really read the Avengers, but I do like James Spader as Ultron. The film itself was it was all right, but that's the one that I pretty much watched for the villain, and that would be James Spader. So, spoiler, he dies at the end. Hey CJ, how you doing? Yeah, some folks didn't like Ultron. I mean, for myself, as someone who's into robotics, I'm an engineer. I freaking love Tony Stark. Engineers represent. That's why I watch Tony Stark. But yeah, I love that. But James Spader coming back. Hey, Virgo says, hello, everyone. Hello, Lorena. Loving the star of the show tonight. Well, I'm so glad you're loving the stream, my dear. Glad you're loving it. Here's my thing. Okay. And this is where it's coming from. They're already bringing back Robert Downey Jr. into the next two Avengers movies. He is coming back as the voice of Victor Von Doom. They're saying he's actually the Victor Von Doom. I'm like, why are you going to tell us this? Because I still see him as Tony Stark, so that makes no sense to me. So apparently, they paid Robert Downey Jr. an obscene amount of money to come back. So in addition, you have that. Now you're bringing James Spader back as Ultron in this new Vision series. So
they're like flip-flopping? Is that what
it seems like they're trying to bring back heavy hitter talent
I see.
back to the Marvel universe. Like one of my biggest quips, well, one of my biggest pet peeves about bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Victor Von Doom is how come you couldn't give that to another actor? Like, say, my personal favorite, Cillian Murphy, who was in Oppenheimer. And if you've ever seen Peaky Blinders, which is kind of rough, but dude's a great actor, how come you couldn't cast that with someone else? They go with Robert Downey Jr., someone Disney is used to working with. We talked about Disney making safe moves. This is a safe move for Disney because they've already worked with James Spader.
Observation. Robert Downey Jr., isn't he kind of aging out? At least the Wolverine role? Because he's starting to look his age. Like,
Hugh Jackman would be Wolverine.
Or is it, I guess, Deadpool? Sorry, I'm like...
it's okay. That's okay. He would be Wolverine. Robert Downey Jr., yeah, he is. I love him to death. I love him as Tony Stark, but he's getting long in the tooth now. Which is probably why they're putting him in the mask for Victor Von Doom. Honestly, I think that they really should not have even said that was going to be him, because every time I hear that voice in the new Avengers movie, if they don't mask it, I'm going to be thinking
Wouldn't it be better just leave it as a mystery?
I would.
I mean, like, if you want the audience to just focus on the character, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would, because Disney announcing Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom, and they did it at Comic-Con. I feel like they're just trying, it feels desperate, like they're just trying to get people back.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Granted, they do need to fix their stuff.
Well, at least they're trying, huh?
Yeah, that's the thing. Unlike Star Wars,
yeah,
Marvel actually looks like they're trying to right the ship. Hey, Bonzo, we need a Stargate SG-1 the film watch along. Yes, James Spader was pretty cool in that. So let's see here from the Hollywood Reporter says James Spader is returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Emmy-winning actor is set to reprise his role as the voice of the robotic villain Ultron in Marvel Studios' untitled Vision series, the follow-up series to its acclaimed WandaVision show. I don't know if you call WandaVision acclaimed because they couldn't stick the landing on that darn show. Ended horribly. And he first played the role in Avengers Age of Ultron. So in this new show, you've got Vision, or White Vision, basically trying to find his purpose again. But considering that Vision actually, I believe that was supposed to be Ultron's new corporeal body, but it got stolen. And they used, the Mind Stone to create Vision.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, it was weird, like Vision's body snatch or something like that. But that was basically the deal. So apparently, Ultron and White Vision are going to have a show together. Johnny Ohm says, I liked MCU Ultron as a character, but not as a Marvel character. That's interesting. I didn't really have an opinion really on Ultron. I just liked that he looked cool, and I heard James Spader's voice. But yeah, I get you. Like a character within the MCU. But yeah. Nita says, "Oh hell yes, engineering, yes, indeed, married to a rocket scientist." Yeah, we engineers are very, very, very weird.
I like that kind of weird.
I do too. It's very strange. Um, Very weird sense of humor, things that you observe that other people don't,
Mhm.
don't observe. Like when Tony Stark makes quips like, if my math is right, and it always is. I'm like, yeah, that's that's the engineering arrogance that you have going on. I remember when Iron Man first came out, people were like, you have to see this movie. Tony Stark is your guy. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Then I saw the movie. I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes total sense. Makes
I have a
total
family
sense.
member like that. I think they're the coolest person ever.
Hmm. They're always such interesting family members, aren't they? Sunset Harbor Entertainment says, I really say it's a bad idea pulling superhero Iron Man from an alternate universe, which is evil during the Iron Wars. This was because Kang asked, yeah, that was also the thing. Jonathan Majors being, persona non grata now with Disney. So yeah, they did. But I'm just like, really? Robert Downey Jr. Just I don't get that. Yes, he does play a bad guy really well. At the end of Ultron, was it the end or was it the beginning? No, I think it was in the beginning when he was starting to become sentient. When he starts referring to Pinocchio and talking about, they got no strings on me. It's so creepy how his voice sounds when he does that and he pulls himself together. I thought that was creepy. I love that they forgot about Vision for an entire 2 phases. Yeah, Vision got pretty much, let's see, Wanda had to kill him first, and then Thanos brought him back to kill him again. And we didn't hear anything about him until till WandaVision. Yeah, a lot of people talked about Cillian Murphy. I think even with him, I think he's about the same age as Robert Downey Jr., Cillian Murphy. But I think the thing is picking a different actor because it's just like they keep and this is also a fault of Disney. They like to recycle the same actors, and it's kind of like, come on, let's do something else. I love season 3. Actually, I did too. Some people said it was a lot of member berries, but I thoroughly enjoyed season 3 of Picard. I refuse to watch the other 2, though. The other 2 are dog crap. Grogu says them getting Robert Downey Jr. for Doctor Doom reeks of desperation. There are other great actors that could play Doctor Doom. Yes, that's what we were saying. Ben Mendelsohn, I don't know, but Mads Mikkelsen, I do know. He would have worked too. That would have been great to go with. But yeah, that's what they wanted to do. Oh no, Doctor Strange movie. I'm trying to forget that thing. That was so bad.
My sister made me watch that movie last
Which one?
Christmas. One of my sisters I came to visit last Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
She made me sit down. She made me sit down and watch that movie. I was just sitting there like, I don't even remember what it was about.
It's pretty bad when you're just like, I don't want to remember what the heck that movie was. What's bad when you wipe your brain of it. Just like, nah, I don't really freaking want to say that movie was so bad. Doctor Strange was a guest in his own movie. I mean, and I was looking forward to that one too. And I was just like, nah. Downey as Iron Man. Love the irony of a talented actor with an alcohol problem playing a talented engineer with an alcohol problem. I did like that. That's so true. And let's see. Someone had one more comment before we move on to The Crow. And Yep, Amanda, we sure did at the top of the show. Yes, that was our first
Yeah.
hot topic. So we did indeed talk about that. So we shall see what happens with this show. I like Terry Matalas as a showrunner. Marvel has not had a tightly run, like a showrunner that looks like they actually know what the heck that they're doing of late. So we shall see what happens with that one. But speaking of people who don't know what they're doing and things that should never have been made in the first place. First of all, thank you, 35 people in here watching. Sure do appreciate that. I'm here with Erica. And this is the Spice Lounge and how the Crow's Wings got clipped at the box office. Reboot of Brandon Lee cult pick bombs with ooh.
Golly.
Can somebody check and see if this was worse than Borderlands?
I heard it was. I heard it tanked more than Borderlands.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard it was like that bad. I want to say I heard it on, was it Midnight's Edge? It was on.
Oh yeah, I really want to know. I really want to know because.
Or it was on Pro. It was on someone's stream and they were talking about it. And yeah, it was.
Was it yesterday? If it was yesterday, it probably was Midnight's Edge. Mamasaurus Rex says, "Yep, worse than Borderlands." Dang.
Yeah, it. They're saying it's like will most likely be the worst of the entire year. Of course, there is Mufasa, so I'm like, yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know.
Okay,
Thanatos
says
bad,
it was
though.
on Midnight's Edge. Okay.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, this movie, I'm still pissed off about how bad it is. But let's put this.
I'm curious. I want to know what was in. Like I saw the trailer, and I watched the original last night, and I cried because I think Andre on Midnight's Edge hit it on the nail when he said, it watching the original is like, it's like a memorial. And that's exactly what it felt like the entire time, even though I'd never seen it before. But the whole time I was watching it, just knowing the history, I cried by the end, and I was just like, geez.
For me, because some people are probably like, how come you haven't seen The Crow? Well, I was gonna see it, but when Brandon Lee died, it was just like something in me was just like, I don't want to.
I wasn't allowed to see it.
I think I was in the same.
I was 14 in 8th grade. My parents were very strict, and I was just a movie that I was not allowed to see. And then, time goes on and you just kind of forget about it. But I remember the sentiments in school. I remember it like it was yesterday. And all the kids were just like distraught and going nuts over his death. And then when the movie came out, it was just like everyone was just buzzing about it back then. Like, and it kind of, it had a heavy feeling back then. And watching it last night, I was like, geez, it's been like how many years? I've never even seen this movie. But I remember the feeling of it in school. And then watching the movie last night, it brought me right back to being in school. And like all those like emotions came back. Like I was like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand all the.
Yeah.
It's like a time capsule, I guess you could say, emotionally, I think, because the way I felt, I just kind of went right back to, okay, now I understand where all my peers, my classmates,
I know for me, it's like, both Bruce and Brandon died making what they love. Like Bruce died, I think Game of Death was his last film. And it's like if you were a Bruce Lee fan, and I wasn't, a lot of kids I went to school with were, and you find out his son's making a movie, and then his son dies. There was just like this mental block. I was just like, I don't think I can watch this because I'm just going to be a total mess, an emotional mess watching it. But since someone decided that they were going to dare to redo this film, I'm like, okay.
So they redid the exact story from the first one?
The exact story with about, well, let's say 25% different, to like quote what Andre likes to say, a Midnight said 25% different. And that 25% different was not real good at all. Momosaurus Rexus. Yes, time capsule. Yeah, because I'm watching the movie, and I'm watching the film, and I'm looking at just like how the sets are designed, how people are talking, the dialogue, the visuals. So I feel like, who gets married on Halloween?
It was a different time period too. You're talking the mid-90s, 1994. Totally different culture back. It was the grunge era, the gothic era. Totally different back then than what we have today.
Like real goth didn't mean emo, and that's what we get in the Crow reboot. It is literally
oh man,
emo Eric, emo Eric Draven, not Eric Draven of the first film, like a goth John Wick going on in a good way. I mean, between the sets, how enraged he is. And first, you don't even see him in the beginning. You see what happened to his fiance, and not even all of it. Just, it's a crime scene when they go, and you can see when they're wheeling her out, she does not look like she is going to make it. And I forget the little girl's name, and she was just like, "You're lying to me. She's not going to make it, is she?" And the cop's like, he's like, "Yeah, I want to tell her she is, but I know it's not, I know it's not true." And then when you find out, Eric, and what dude clawed his way out of a darn grave.
That was nuts. When I saw that, I was like, what? I'm like, now you got my interest.
I was like,
dude, popping out of a grave? What?
Out of a freaking, you see like the dirt.
I thought it was awesome. I was like, what?
He has no idea what's going on. I'm like, dang God.
I do have a storyline question. So, like the whole beginning with the Crow and the soul and all that. Well, why not the girl? Why was it only the guy? Why not, what's her name? Was it Shelley? What's her name? Why not her? Why not the both of them? Why couldn't they have come back and the both of them rewrite the wrong? I mean, she was wrong just as much as he was, if not worse, in a way.
I'm not sure.
I didn't understand that part. I was like, I wonder why they wrote it that way. Unless it was just the comic. That's just how it was written.
Yeah, I think so. And you guys can correct me in the chat. I believe this was a graphic novel that they were basing it on. Okay. And it kind of goes back to that, I don't want to say trope, but we'll just say like that storytelling standard of, the woman he loves is killed and he has to come back and avenge her and all of that, which I was totally down with, because dude went ham. What he did to the pawn shop. Right. I had to watch that scene twice. It was so good. Oh my gosh.
I was like, man, I got days like that.
That Taming with the crowd. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
That's a
Because
way to put it.
Brandon Lee, first of all, his acting, he made you believe he was a man on a mission and he was not to be fooled around with. Even the scenes were as angry as he was. And first of all, Ernie Hudson was in the original. He played the cop perfectly. And Eric's like all angry at the world and he grabs his head and he's just like, oh, you were with her so she didn't die alone. And I'm like, the way his acting shifted, I'm like, dude, it was just perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Yeah, I thought it was the perfect love story because the
I mean, it
woman
came around by
that
the end.
Mhm.
They did a great job by the end because I was like, okay,
They
I'm like, you redeemed yourself here.
yes. And
Because
not
for
only
like
did
3/4 of the movie, I was kind of like, well, what about him and Shelley? And weren't they already in the afterlife when they died? I just had all these questions, and I'm just sitting here like, well. And then by the end, I was like, okay. I'm like, we're good. I'm good.
yeah, I thought it was really good because not only did Eric care about himself, but he cared about the little girl who he and Shelly were just like, no, she's not my sister. She just helps take care of me because her mom was like a heroin addict or something like
Yeah.
that. And the mom, for lack of a better term, got scared straight and actually became, a good mother. Yes, the emotion in his and I was not a goth person at all. I had friends who were.
Same here. I was more alternative, but I had friends that were in the goth scene.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, peace, what's up? But yeah, I didn't really interact that much with them, like with the whole scene that they were in, but I was very aware of it. And it wasn't a joke. It was something that was lived. Would you agree with that?
Mhm. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lifestyle. And it really catapulted the culture of the gothic. My younger sister is like total goth when she was in middle school and high school. And I mean goth. Yeah.
Yeah, back when Hot Topic it was really wild. Hardly anybody went there.
Or back when Spencer was Spencer's. I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever it is now.
All the stuff that you couldn't watch, but or look at. Yeah, back in the room back there. But yeah, let's see. After 16 years of fits and starts, a 50 million reboot. 50 million, dang. Of the 94 goth thriller The Crow finally flew into theaters and dropped out of the sky with a disastrous 4.6 million opening. It couldn't happen to a better movie. And I'm going to tell you why. Yes, one, there is this, Eric Draven is not supposed to be an emo goth kid. All right. First of all, how where we meet this guy. You know where this guy meets Shelley.
I think I may have missed that part.
Well, this is in the new film. So this is in the reboot. So in the first movie, we don't really see Shelley until the crime scene, and we see bits and pieces of their relationship through flashbacks that Eric had. In this movie, apparently this dude likes to cut himself and does pyro and stuff, and basically has found himself Baker acted or put in a psych ward.
What?
Or maybe I shouldn't say a psych ward. Oh no, rehab. Let's put it that way. So basically, he's in a rehab center and meets this chick, Shelley, who apparently got busted with drugs.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of getting the impression that when they made this new movie that that kind of goes along with the stereotype of goth, which is completely false. I mean, I get some of that stuff went on in the goth scene, but it's not everybody.
No. And
do you get that same impression?
I didn't get the impression that it was a goth thing, because when they set this film up, these people are obvious, like Gen Zers, late millennials, Gen Zers, social media. They're all going to like drug parties and stuff like that. But it wasn't like a goth scene at all. It was just this weird kind of how do I put it?
Like they tried to go goth, but they just missed it. Like maybe their version of what they think it was in the 90s, and it was just a complete miss.
Totally. For when I saw this, there's a certain song that went through my head. Are you familiar with a late singer named Amy Winehouse?
No, but I might
She
know
had
the
this
song.
song. They tried to make me go to rehab. I said no, no, no. Yes, this is pretty much in rehab. Eric and Shelley meet each other in rehab. Okay, they wind up escaping rehab because apparently there are some very bad people who are trying to get Shelley, considering that they killed Shelley's friend. And the big bad apparently can speak demonic words and make you pretty much yeet yourself. Yes. This is what they did. And I'm like, okay, you're not supposed to be having a relationship like that when you're in rehab. And this is what they do. And they glamorize it. Guess what? We're going to escape. We're going to run away. We're going to crash at my friend's pad. We're basically going to have gratuitous sex, and we're just going to pop pills and pop in bottles and just do that. And that's pretty much what it was. It's like there was I didn't believe the two of them were in love with each other. And the whole sentiment of The Crow is that, when a person dies, when they move on, basically, I think it's like in the form of a crow. But if there's so much pain that's generated when that person dies, especially when it comes to someone that they love, that they're brought back, and the crow basically shows them how to make the wrongs right.
Mm-hmm.
And in the original version, it's because Shelley was basically beat up, sexually assaulted, and, mortally wounded.
Yeah.
So we understand the rage that Eric has. So much rage, dude clawed himself out of 6 feet of dirt to come out to avenge her. But with Shelley, it's just like she's a freaking drug addict. That's it. She's a drug addict. Granted, this, the big bad, demonic big bad. I can't remember his name because I don't want to remember his name. Basically tells her something in some kind of demonic language, and all of a sudden she's homicidal, and it was like caught on video. That's what it was. I'm like, okay, so you do that. Okay, it gets a little worse. Okay, so it gets worse. Apparently, there's one point where this Eric, emo Eric, okay, apparently he doesn't trust that Shelley loved him enough. So he's apparently wasted his chance. So he says, okay, I'll trade my soul for hers. So then it becomes, instead of just avenging her death, it's like, okay, I'm going to trade places with her so she can come back.
What?
Yep. Hey, Ron, how you doing?
I just got in from Epcot, And oh my gosh, was it ever dead?
Ah, lucky.
I believe it.
Oh
my
I don't know if
gosh.
that's lucky, but like, okay, so
I
this is
love
the
an empty
funniest,
theme park.
funniest thing that I've ever seen happen. I walked up to Frozen and literally was posted a 40-minute wait time on the thing, and I videoed the whole thing so I could see it. Walked in, 40-minute wait time posted. I literally walked onto the ride. It was 7:09 when I walked in, and it was 7:11 when I got on the ride, and it was 7:19 when I got off.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Um,
I expected you to pop on. So
Yeah, no, I saw you guys, and I'm like, you know what? I can pop in real quick via cell phone and at least say hi, because two of my favorite people in the world, Reina and Erica. Come on, and Erica, I feel like I was with you because I was just in Germany in Epcot.
I get that all the time. Every time we go to the German pavilion, Raph is like, "Hey, look, oh gosh, he does it on purpose to get under my skin." It's just like, in Germany, they gosh, how does it he words it? He tries to make it sound like Epcot is the real Germany and not here. and I look at him and I'm like, stop doing that. And he's like, it's funny. I'm like, no, it's not.
I have an update on Applegate 2020-24. Did you check the parks the other day, Lorena, for caramel apples?
no.
Okay, so
I haven't
they
been
were out property wide, and I confirmed in Germany today they had caramel apples, and they said that there was a problem with the supplier of apples, and so for like property wide, all of Walt Disney World was literally out of apples property wide completely, not just caramel apples, but apples. So
But they still have the chocolate covered ones, right?
they had no apples whatsoever property wide because of a problem with their shipping and distribution, but they got them back now apparently. So
I don't think somebody
so they
got
didn't
paid.
have any kind of apple treat at all for a while.
yeah, apparently like there were no apples of any kind at all in any restaurant on property for like a week.
Oh, that sucks.
That sounds like they might have pissed somebody off, because I'm like, you mean to tell me you couldn't make a call to Publix and say, we need apples?
Publix has chocolate covered apples in the
Yeah.
produce. They're
How
actually
about
pretty
them
good.
apples?
Goodness gracious.
So the Crow, we're talking about the new
Yeah.
Crow?
We talking
Yeah,
about the new
it's-
Crow, man. I saw
it
it
sounds really
last
bad.
night. Well, no, I saw it today, and it was freaking awful. It was
Nope.
absolutely
Brandon Lee's Crow was man, that was awesome. I don't know why would they reboot it when you have a classic that still works?
It's Hollywood. Why ask why? This is like their like thing now, where it's remakes and franchises and copy and paste.
You know what I
Especially-
saw? I saw something really cool today. I know Lorena did too. Sonic 3 trailer. Ooh.
We talked about that earlier. Yes.
Okay, I missed that, but man, yeah,
Yes.
that was fire. That was exciting.
I can't wait. And it's gonna blow Mufasa out of the water as soon as it comes out. When
Like,
it does
okay,
in December.
I wanted to say this on the pro show earlier. I didn't get a chance to, but like nobody asked for Mufasa. So there's no audience begging for Mufasa, but the audiences have been begging for a Sonic 3 because Sonic 1 was good. 2 was even like the Sonic movies have really built, I thought. I've enjoyed both of them. I know Sonic was was the last movie we saw as a family prior to the shutdowns of everything in 2020. And I'll never forget having that memory of, oh, this is it. That was the last movie. And so now it's exciting, and it's exciting to see Jim Carrey and his real acting chops again. He's back in
Are you
form.
serious? There's no what? Tron 3 is loosely based on Roman Okay, when you say Roman holiday,
There's a Tron 3?
Yeah,
I'm
Tron
thinking
Ares.
I'm thinking of the old Audrey Hepburn movie.
That's
Roman
what I'm
Holiday.
thinking of too.
That is not computing to me. Tron with what? I'm not. That is
Tron
what? Do I have something wrong?
Now,
No.
when they do Tron 3, are they going to show how a whole crap ton of rust grows in
Oh,
the
he was
grid,
joking,
apparently?
guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
That one.
Because apparently in Tron, now a whole lot of rust grows in the grid, because if you go to like the Tron ride at the Magic Kingdom, I mean, it's so corroded.
And mold and all kinds of stuff that's going on.
I didn't know that all that stuff grew electronically in the grid.
I didn't either. So it's like surprise, surprise, surprise. But one of the things that I did want to get back to when we're talking about, what makes them think that they could reboot this thing. Remember, you had the Borderlands director basically like, oh, I'm not gonna base it on, the video game. I'm gonna come up with my vision. And you know what the general public said? You can take your vision and stick it. We're not going to see this crap movie. And with this one, it's the same thing. I'm in the theater. There was hardly anybody in there to begin with. And night, Nita. No one seemed impressed with this at all. And if you guys have seen the cinema score, any movie that has a cinema score less than an A, it's pretty much an F. So when the cinema score for this one was released, I think it was like a C or something like that.
Ouch.
Yeah, the director says, responds to the backlash that says that this is from fans who are very active online. So I'll go to what he actually said down here. Talking to Entertainment Weekly, director Rupert Sanders responded to some of the backlash. I think a lot of people who are very active online and not so active in life, he stated. Get out and do something and have less time throwing stones.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that, making comments online took all day.
Oh, golly.
Jeez.
I love it when the Hollywood types make excuse for the fact that their projects suck. they just suck, guys.
Time they could actually take a hit and be okay with it and be like, oh, like they acknowledged when something was a flop. Now, forget it. Golly.
And that's something that I've noticed. Remember back in the day, just kind of like what Erica was saying or alluding to. Remember back in the day, if a movie like flopped, the director's kind of like, okay, I guess I got it wrong,
Or they were just like, whatever. They dusted themselves off and they got right back to work. They weren't, crying about it,
Yes. Blame the audience. You guys didn't give it a chance. Just like with the Acolyte. You folks didn't give it a chance. And you're racist and misogynist.
How about you offended a generation that holds, and I'm having a hard time articulating this, but in the mid-90s, people that our generation that were really into that lifestyle, that Gothic lifestyle, I don't know what it is about The Crow, but it just permeated it. I don't know. There was just something about that movie and the culture of goth. You just don't mess with it. I can't explain it. It's like you had to have lived in that era to know. I don't know. I can't put it into words. It's just like you touched something that you touched something that was sacred and it should not have been touched.
Right. It's like they didn't give it a Cobra Kai treatment.
Oh no.
It's not like they did, if they were going to do a remake, that they would do something where it's like
But even with Karate Kid, like Karate Kid didn't have this like cultural influence like, you know, The Crow or even what's the name? Clueless, you know. Gosh, that movie came out and all of a sudden everyone's saying my bad and my bad, you know, and then the super ultra preppy look came on scene.
Did they do a new Clueless recently, or
there was rumor they were? I don't know what happened.
Well, no, I was Mean Girls. That's what I was thinking of. I'm sorry, because they did a Mean Girls, but it was a musical, and nobody
I didn't
watched that.
No,
they did another Mean Girls, and it was awful. Just like why the heck do you want to do that? But yeah, Erica, I get your point, because with these cult movies, the reason why they're such cult classics is you're drawn to the aesthetic that you see.
Yeah.
And that aesthetic is what draws people. They want to relive a certain experience when they see it. When you mess with that, and not just, I mean, if you do it like, say, a book report, and you redo the same thing, but actually do it well, it's like, okay, then it'll fit there. But when you mess with that story, and that's the thing, it's like when you fundamentally screw with the story, screw with the time period.
You mean like The Little Mermaid?
I'm happy with that. Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what happened with The Little Mermaid. You could have, they changed the story around the actress, and it was, I mean, it wasn't horrible, honestly. It was just a little convoluted, and it wasn't as pristine and perfect as the original Little Mermaid was. I mean, one of the problem with the remakes, the live action remakes that Disney's doing, is that those stories are perfect for animation. Animation is a very particular art form, and they don't work as well in the live action for the very reason that they're created for animation. So it's just like a movie like The Crow. I think that, I don't know, directors want their own vision. I was thinking of a movie. There's a movie that still plays in cinemas to this day, that I believe was made maybe in either the late 60s or early 70s. You'll know it when I say it. Still gets a great audience reception because there's particular showings of it because of the cult following. And I don't think they'll ever remake it. And that's the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes.
You know, because you go see that when you go to the movie theater to see it the way that it's presented, and you act it out with it, and you have the whole thing. I mean, it's still, to this very day, 55 decades after it was done, it's still a cult phenomenon and a blast to go and enjoy. And when a movie is like that, you don't need to remake it.
Yeah, you're just opening up old sore wounds with your audience doing what they did here with The Crow. No, we don't want to go back and revisit, the past like that.
That picture that you have up there, is that a male or female?
Oh God, that's Bill Skarsgård. I know. Even
looks very feminine. It just looks extremely feminine to me.
He looks feminine. Through all of it, he's like a beta male, and then through another, a film is bad when there's a close combat, high body count, graphic kill scene, and you're more interested in what opera they're reenacting at the same time as opposed to the action that's going on. That made I'm just thinking, what opera is that? Because that's actually pretty good. When is this killing going to be over? Because it makes zero sense. But I agree with both of you. It's like with cult classics, the reason that they're cult classics, again, it's time in a bottle. It's a situation in a bottle. You relive certain experiences through that. And that's what you expect to see. Another thing that pissed me off about this movie, and I'm gonna bring it up, and I haven't heard anybody else really bring this up too, but here's the analogy. In the Crow film, I think the atmosphere, of course, you had a lot of gangs. You also had a lot of drug use. Because the mother, she was addicted to heroin. She's hooked up with this guy. She doesn't care about her kid. And she's constantly getting high. Well, she was getting high with one of the people who sexually assaulted his fiance. We'll say the Brandon Lee version of the Crow. And dude, basically, he murked this guy. And her mother saw it. And she thinks that he's going to kill her. And he tells her, he says, basically that mother is the name for God on the tongues of children. And he's like, this stuff is killing you. And your daughter is out there in the streets and she needs you. And the mother actually has a redemption arc in The Crow, thanks to Eric. Okay, let's put a pin in that. You go to this remake, okay. Shelley is obviously biracial in this film. Okay. They show her mother. All right. Her mother is Black. You find out later on, pretty obvious, her mother has had this illustrious career as a supermodel. She doesn't even really give a crap about her daughter at all. Except for finding out that she's dead. They go to the funeral and, emo Eric is like, but I love your daughter and I want to bring her back. And the mother's like, well, maybe I should have been around for her more. Apparently she made a deal pretty much with the devil. So she had this super model type of life. Big Bad basically tells her, you know what, I've given you all of this. And she's like, oh, but it cost me my daughter's life. And he says, well, maybe you should join her. Speaks a demonic language into her ear. And he's leaving the hotel. Guess what happens? And I hate that I predicted this. The mother basically commits suicide by throwing herself off the balcony. So I'm like, let me get this straight. This is how you see motherhood in this movie? There's no redemption arc for this mother. She basically winds up killing herself.
Well, that kind of contradicts The Crow. Right, Eric. He didn't come back to kill anybody. Well, except for who killed him and his girlfriend. That's it.
Yeah, he didn't kill the mother. The big bad wound up killing the mother.
Who was it that whispered that into her ear, the demonic thing?
That was the big bad. And I'm blanking on his name because I don't want to remember. But it's actually, he does that. So what does she do? She goes out there and kills herself. I'm just like, you mean to tell me this is how you treat motherhood in this film? It's not treated as sacred like it was in the original Crow movie. And we've learned more about Eric as that happens. Not in this one. Not in this one at all. So I find it really disgusting and reprehensible that you do this to a Black mother in this movie.
Yeah.
I could not.
I'm kind of speechless.
I couldn't even say. I couldn't. Nope. Father isn't there. Nope.
Wow.
And to be fair, the father was missing in the first Crow film. However, yeah, it's like the mother, through him, the mother was able to pull herself out of that addiction to be there, for her daughter. But it's like in the 80s, 90s, it was kind of like a different time. They didn't really say if the father was drug addicted or not, but either way, at least the mother got herself straight. In this one, the mother's way of getting herself straight is jumping off the 30-story building and hitting the pavement.
God.
And I mean violently. Here's the other thing. You had violence in the original Crow movie, okay? You had it there, but it wasn't gratuitous. It was warranted in each what each part or each scene that it was used. This one, it's like they tried to, this dude was emo and then like flip a switch. All of a sudden he's freaking John Wick in a bad way.
Oh,
I
God.
noticed that in the trailer. I noticed they're grotesque. I was like, it wasn't. I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah, it's on another level in the trailer from what I saw, compared to the movie, the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Like sociopath, like just
this.
Yeah.
But I mean, granted, violence doesn't really bother me if it's warranted by the script. I mean, John Wick, he had people trying to kill him. Okay, so that was a little different, and he was in that particular business, but it does not fit in this story. And literally, there's so much gore that you just get desensitized to it.
Yeah, I mean, you can have scenes like that without. There is an extreme. And
Right.
it seemed like they went to the extreme in the second movie. In the first movie, what you got was good. I wouldn't have gone any further than what they
Depends on
showed.
what the story calls for, what the type of
That's
story. I mean,
true.
like Deadpool, Wolverine, the violence is gratuitous, but it's also somewhat comical.
Yes.
You know, it adds to that. It actually adds to the comedy element of the story because they're showing so much blood. As a matter of fact, there are times when it looked like they were just pouring cranberry juice. It was funny. Like you laugh at it
because like the trailer on the Crow, like the blood scenes. I mean, it was just what I saw and I didn't see Deadpool. Was it just like a lot of fight scenes and violence in terms of just fighting?
Well, meaning they're ripping
a lot
through
of
flesh with
blood?
Wolverine claws.
There was a lot of blood. We are talking decapitations. We are talking impalements. We are talking removing swords from your back. We are talking severed limbs. We are talking severed heads being thrown into an opera audience.
Deadpool or The Crow?
This is in the Crow reboot.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I'm just sitting. I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
And it wasn't played for laughs.
No, it was not played for laughs. It wasn't like Deadpool and Wolverine fighting in a minivan.
Fight scenes and compared to like murder scenes.
And that's what it is. It's literally like a kill floor and 100% gratuitous. It made no sense whatsoever
to take it that far. Yeah.
To take it that far.
So it's violence porn, or gore porn, or whatever you want to call it.
Gore porn, drugs, porn, you know.
I'm glad I'm having this conversation. You've saved me like $7 here at least.
Dude, I basically saw this sucker for free, and I wish I could get my loyalty points back, but I guess I'm just gonna have to settle for a free small popcorn. This movie, it did not need to be made, number one. If they were going to redo it, it was not done with any kind of real respect to the first movie at all. This particular director says, well, it's not supposed to be exactly like the first one. You can go and watch it on VHS. It's like, no. That's not the point. The point is you went and did this. You went and did this. Then you went and directed this. And there's nothing in the direction that shows any homage towards the first movie. I hear there's some other like Crow sequel films that are out there that I've heard about. I doubt any of them are as disrespectful as this. You know, where there's films where it's like we want to try to capture the first one, but you can actually feel the respect when you watch the movie, even though they may not hit the mark at all.
They could have done this better. It could have just been written differently. Had they just maybe, let's say it was just a different story of, you know, it's just somebody else's death, somebody else's revenge with, you know, not Eric, not Shelley, but just different characters in a different story. and you have like the
Mhm.
Crow coming back, and you know,
Mhm.
I think maybe that would have landed better than, because this just seemed like a direct copy of the first, you know, with
Mhm.
tweaks, and it's just a slap in the face.
Well, Sunset Harbor, you know what? I fall on this grenade so other people don't have to. And this is my whole thing. I cannot talk crap about a film unless I have seen it, because the first thing somebody will say, well, have you seen the movie or not? I can't really talk smack about it the way that I want to unless I have actually seen it. So it's not like someone gave me passes to go see it, you know. Actually having to pay somewhat to go and see it is different. So, yeah, I do. One, to be intellectually honest when I discuss the film. And two, to feel that pain so you want to spare other people from it. This is not even worth oh my gosh. It's not worth a matinee ticket. It's not worth seeing ever. It's not worth seeing on streaming at all. This sucker needs to be memory hold, as in it never existed. And it's disgusting that this director basically tries to make excuses blaming the fans. You can't blame us and want our money at the same time, because we're not to blame. We're
I hate
consuming your product.
the phrase toxic fandom because there's no such thing. Like
No,
it's just
there's not.
No,
the
there
fact
isn't.
the fact of the
Whatever.
matter is you make a product, any whatever, and the product over time may grow a fan base. And then you cannot, okay, let's say that you have the best oranges in the world, right? And there's a reason for that. You have a formula for those oranges you create, and then 30 years down the road, you change that formula like Coke did with New Coke. And
Mhm.
and there's a backlash. When Coke came out with New Coke and there was a backlash, it lasted for a little while, and then Coke said, "You know what? We're going back to the original formula because we've listened to the damn fans." That's what you're supposed to do. If you create something and you've gone the wrong direction and there's a fan, you don't blame the fans. Coca-Cola never once came out and said, well, our people that have been drinking Coke for this long, they just don't have taste anymore. Like, it's the dumbest thing ever. So, like, you don't blame the fans. You give the people what they freaking want. It's so simple.
And
Just like
whatever
with Star
happened,
Wars. Oh,
he
it's so annoying.
he must never heard the phrase, you know, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Mhm. But I think with some of these people, especially, I don't ever remember director. Can you imagine Tarantino blaming the fans for some of his films? It just it wouldn't make sense.
I mean, what about M.
He
Night
didn't have
Shyamalan?
exactly, and M Night has made a lot of freaking bombs. Okay, and he just he has, but he just keeps going and making movies because he's like, these are the kind of movies I make. If you want to see it, that's great. But he doesn't go around trashing the fans.
He usually too owns up to when he like. I've heard him in interviews when he's saying he realized that he didn't do his best work and he's made mistakes, but he's very experimental and he takes that into account.
Mm-hmm.
And he, without being self-deprecating, but he's aware, and that's to see this lack of awareness from a director where you're just going to blame the fans because what was that one? I'm sorry to say this. That one completely gay movie that bombed where the guy blamed the fans.
Gross. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
I heard even gay people didn't want to watch it.
Man, geez, that's when you know it's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame. Do not. We are the people who feed you. You might not want to blame us. You might just want to make something that works, and then we'll feed you again.
Yeah, don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's true.
Yeah, and don't mess with fans of a cult classic. Look at this popularity up here, 32 out of 75. How old is this movie?
Oh, which one? The original?
Yeah,
Late
the
90s.
original.
I
That was
tried
94?
doing the math last night, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just that old. It's been
Oh,
over 30 years.
It's painful sometimes to think about it, but
I
it's
mean,
just like
gosh.
this film is still this popular after that amount of time, and no one wants to see a remake of this.
nope. Don't
Like,
need it.
don't
Brandon
need
Lee.
it.
So
Don't
good.
need it.
Okay, we're at 30
Don't need it.
years exactly when The Crow came
Mhm.
out the first. Yeah, that's
Nuts.
crazy.
And
That's
it
mind-boggling.
is, I'm telling you, you need a box of tissues to watch The Crow, because at the end of the film, when he basically reburies himself
Yeah.
next to Shelley, I'm
And the
like,
irony and all
I'm
that.
going to cry.
And you're not even crying for the character at that point. You're crying for the actor. Like
Yeah,
that's for me, it was like that. I was just like, golly,
it was
and
tough.
He's
it
such
was
a
it
good
was tough.
actor. Oh
And
my
I don't know
God.
if it'd be hard to watch again because it's just
Yeah.
tragic, you know. I think that's
Yeah.
probably gonna be a one and done for me because I God, it's just
It's like it is. It's a good movie, but I think especially with Brandon Lee's passing, you just need to watch it once,
yeah.
and everything about it. His performance is so good. Seeing Ernie Hudson as a supporting character in there as a cop, it's just, you really only need to see it. Well, I know some people who want to see it over and over again. I get it. But
Yeah,
for
there's some
me,
that can only do it once or twice. Yeah.
yeah, for me, I just can't, because I look and I see just how amazing Brandon Lee was as an actor, and how he was just taken away from us just
Too soon.
way too soon.
I
It was
forgot.
Way too
I
soon.
forgot that The Crow came out in that era of those original Michael Keaton Batman movies,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
that it was in the shadow of those, but kind of different, and still that feeling, that genre, that goth.
Yeah, it was the
Back
goth
then,
grunge era.
it
Yeah.
Yeah.
was it was, I guess, exemplified in some of the music, of that day as well. But the way that it came across on film was, I just think that there was an artisticness to it that we haven't
Yeah.
seen since. Of course, they
Mhm.
changed that in the third Batman movie, and it wasn't nearly as good. But those first two, the Crow movie, a few others back then that were like that. That was just an amazing era, really, for film.
Yeah, it culturally depicts like our teenage years, and I guess on the second movie, from what I'm hearing from Lorena, it's just a complete miss.
It's
You can't recreate that unless you lived in the mid 90s
Yeah.
to really
I
get it
would have
right.
to agree. Just the aesthetics, the whole feeling of that era, everything. I
There's no
just
recreating
remember.
it.
No, you really can't. You really can't with you can't with this. I get that you wanted to do something different, but you couldn't even do something different and have a coherent story. That's the other thing. If I separate the two out and say, okay, maybe it's something different. No,
Yeah, they didn't do
you
anything different.
still
They
have,
just repeated the same story, and they made it worse.
they rehashed it. I don't remember Eric needing a guide through the underworld to come back. Yeah, they put that in there too.
That's weird.
And in the end,
I thought okay, sorry. I'm like, wasn't the Crow? Oh my gosh, what?
Yeah. So now he's got
Oh,
a ward of crows. You remember in John
wasn't
Wick,
the Crow
dude had
gonna
all
have
the
the guide?
pigeons. That's what they did. That's what they did. And to make this even worse, and I'll wrap this up. This is bad enough, they killed off the Black Mother. Okay. Do you know how in the original Crow movie, Eric reburied himself and they were both there together, and the Crow brings back
The ring?
the
Mhm.
ring, Okay, and it's just like, oh my god, they're back together. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm like trying to
Okay.
get her back together.
So
What?
to add
Oh,
to
okay.
that,
Mhm.
you know, Brandon Lee was engaged to be married. There was him and his fiance were supposed to marry weeks after the movie was finished. And that's what I'm saying. Like by the end of the movie, yeah, you need a box of tissues because you're looking at the movie beyond just the characters at that point. And
Yes.
it's just so eerie and I don't want to say creepy, but it's just very eerie. It kind of makes your hairs stand on the back of your neck.
It really
And
is. And yeah, it really does. And it goes into, if you read a lot of gothic romance, kind of like that. Well, if we can't be together in life, then we'll be together in the afterlife. That is such a common thread when it comes to. I wasn't a goth person, but I read a lot of gothic literature. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is a common theme. So that ended perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
This freaking movie, Eric
give it away?
basically gives up his life so she can come back to life. And their love will live on in her as she lives on and gains more fame and notoriety. And that's good enough for him.
It's weird.
I said, the hell you say what now?
That doesn't make sense.
So the focus, because with the original Crow, the main, even though the motivation was to avenge the fiance, the focus of the film was truly on Eric Draven.
Well, in the original,
this
to
movie,
avenge both of them. It was to avenge both him and his fiance's death, not just her.
Yeah.
Did they not get that in the second movie?
No, they didn't get that in the second movie.
Weird.
No.
And they made that abundantly clear in the first movie. I mean, it was like, it was just blatantly. They said it.
Yeah, they said it. It's like he would avenge her, the people who killed him. In this one, yeah, they kind of wanted to do both, but at the end, they weren't both together in the afterlife because he decided, I guess because he wasn't man enough to acknowledge that or to trust that she really loved him. In the end, he dies for real. I mean, like gone and he's in the afterlife, but she continues to live on. Yeah.
Sounds like he went full beta male.
Yes,
she crawled out of her grave.
I wish, but no, she came up out of the water.
Oh, of course.
She came up out of the water. Yeah. And like, I want to stay with you, but I can't. I want to stay with you. It did not fit the gothic story of the Crow. So in the end, basically, it's like he has to die so you can have the spotlight.
Yeah,
I did not like how that. I did not like how that ended. I did not like
because they don't end up together. Whether they're both alive or dead, like that's not together. That's separation.
Yes,
and it leaves you with this sense of like,
is that part
like
of
awkwardness? Like
a
it's not
female
finished.
superiority message? Is that
yes,
what?
it is.
Yeah,
Yes,
I guess you could say that. Now
yes,
that you
it is.
mention it makes sense.
It is 100%. That's what that was. Because again, the beauty of the Crow movie was that in the end, they ended up together. This one, it's okay, babe. You know, since I didn't trust your love for me, we really can't be together for real. So
she lives on and becomes a lesbian.
Oh God. I almost thought that was going to happen. But seriously, the end of it is that their love lives on as she lives on. Yeah. Yep.
That's so dumb.
This movie is freaking trash. As Fatal J would say, trash. Oh wait, is it DiMaggio? One of y'all. one of y'all, this movie was not, no. People are 100% correct to turn their back on this piece of crap. I mean, bruh. Oh my gosh, Rupert Sanders, you know what? You just need to take this L and just move on with your life. Don't blame the fans because this movie was dog crap.
Rupert.
Just
It
get
was dog
over
crap.
yourself. Like, people didn't like it. My gosh.
No.
I don't, not everyone's gonna like what you make or create. Isn't that part of the business? Don't these people have thicker stomachs than that? I mean, you would think.
You would think. Remember when Hollywood used to trust their audience? I mean, if they put something out there and it bombed, it's like, okay, well, I guess it didn't
because
work.
they wanted to make money.
Yeah.
Obviously, if your point is that you have a very, very particular point of view and you believe that you are really, really right in your head, it's you're right, and your audience isn't getting that, and you try to teach them and they're just not getting it. Well, they just suck because they won't get my lesson that the
Okay, and then
woman
that's gaslighting right there.
that's what this feels like. It's like so dumb to me.
That's just gaslighting. You're not as intelligent as I am to understand what I was trying to put out there. Or maybe it was just shit, and I just don't care.
And this is the other thing, and I'm glad you brought this up with Mark Daly, and we're going to wrap this up because, as you can tell, this movie pissed me the hell off, especially after seeing the original and then going to see this nightmare. If you remember in the original Crow, Shelley was trying to there was something going on, I think, with all the tenants, and she was trying to get all the tenants together because they were basically being screwed over or something like that. It had something to do with it was something like that. It was a cause where she wanted to get all the tenants together.
I must have missed that.
It was something to that effect. And whoever the landlord was, I forget the dude's name, but he was freaking awesome. He was a great actor in this film. But they wanted to take over the building, and she wanted to get everyone together to push back. Well, they didn't like that, so they sent the goons to kill her. Shelley was seen as someone who thought of other people, not just herself. Like the kid that they took care of because the mom was a junkie, the way she cared about people in the building. Shelley was that type of person. She was a selfless person, which is one of the main reasons why Eric loved her. The Shelley in this reboot is a selfish heifer. What's the first thing you liked about me when you saw me? And not in a good way either, kind of like a very narcissistic way. It is such a toxic relationship.
Oh, she's a TikTok star.
This heifer was not freaking worth it. She was not worth it. I mean, I could see if she was someone who was trying to get off of drugs, kick the habit completely, and was trying to help other people, but no, there is no redeeming quality about this chick. And the fact that I like the fact that he questioned if she loved him, because there was
she was a
nothing
spoiled
redeeming
brat.
about it.
That's what it sounds like.
She was a spoiled brat. I tell you, for that heifer, he should have stayed dead. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't. Oh God, I hate this movie. I hate this movie so darn much. Oh my gosh. Tell us how you really feel. I'm trying to not use cuss words, but it is
hard.
It's pathetic. It's so bad. And you're right. It's so hard. And yeah, hey Charles, if it's not Brandon or Los Angeles, I am not seeing this Crow. Dude, don't.
Just watch the original one again.
I'm glad Beetlejuice comes out in like a week so we can actually have something maybe good to talk about.
I hope we have something good to talk about. I'm scared.
I
I'm
hope
like,
it's good.
I hope
I
it's gonna be good.
I have a good feeling about it because of the interview that I saw with Michael Keaton. He said, he thinks that the story is even better than the last part. And the best thing about the new Beetlejuice movie is that Alec Baldwin's not in it, so that's good. They didn't have to worry about anybody getting shot on the set or anything. So it's very good stuff there.
I'm excited for the new Beetlejuice movie. Every trailer that I see of it, I just find myself smiling.
I heard that it kind of takes after the cartoon series.
Oh,
does it have? I haven't seen the cartoon series in years, and I used to watch it, but it's been so long. I wanted.
Yeah.
I thought I'd read something somewhere that
I'm just glad the costume's going to become relevant.
It's going to have elements that will be reminiscent of like more of the cartoon series than the first movie.
Interesting.
Okay, because I like the cartoon series.
I know it was good. Yeah, it was really good. There again, going back to that 90s goth era.
The 90s, baby.
Oh my gosh. That was a good show. I enjoyed it very much.
Yep. Well, folks, as always, this has been great. Thank you so much for supporting the show, especially supporting the new day and the new time. I so appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. All your super chats, all your chats, witty banter. I have one of the best chats out there on YouTube. So, Erica, what do you have going on to let the folks know about?
We are going to a wine fest this weekend, so we're going to be filming it, and sometime next week I'll have a vlog posted. So that's coming up around the corner.
Oh, very, very nice. Well, folks, I have a link to Erica and Ross' channel. Well, I will. As soon as the stream ends up, I'll put that so you can go to their channel. Please do subscribe to their channel. You can also follow her on X as well.
I need to post more on X.
Yes, you do. You need to post more. I love it when you pop up there. X is a cesspool, but daggone it, my best friends are on X. So no, honey, they are not annoying. I love the chat. I love the banter. Before I had my own channel, I was in the chat talking with people, doing stuff, making comments. That's how I wound up on the Dark Council. So I love the comments you guys have in here. Ron, what do you have going on to let the folks know about?
I just got to say something about X, about Twitter. I only rejoined after Elon took over. I left it I couldn't deal with Twitter the way it was before. But what's funny is that the other day I checked my message requests. I see my messages, but I'm like, oh, there's a message request thing. Let me look. And I looked over that. I'm like, oh, with these message requests, they should call this Triple X. It's not. It's like all those bots get in there.
Right.
I'm like, oh gosh.
I've had messaging my DMs locked down.
Yeah, no. But anyway, I was at Epcot today, and I've got a vlog that's going to come out and show just how ridiculously not busy it was. I am literally. I know that Disney goes through down times, but this is the least busy I've seen it since literally 2020, the pandemic, and they were holding it at 10% capacity. I have never seen Epcot this dead outside of like literally August of 2020. It was crazy dead. And I know that the Food and Wine starts in 2 days. I will be live for Food and Wine, and I will do a vlog on the first day of Food and Wine as well. And then every day, of course, the Daily Dish at 9:30 a.m. I will probably be talking about how dead the Disney park was today. And I'm just, I literally flabbergasted that I walked on to Frozen And Epcot, like literally walked. I filmed it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, there's literally nobody even in this building, and I walked right on, and it was. I'm sorry, my mind is still blown that happened. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
Wow.
And I got a virtual queue. Okay, so this morning I got up and I got a virtual queue for Tiana's at 7 because I thought I might go to Magic. And I had it all day long, and you can't get a new virtual queue unless you dump one. So I go into Epcot, and I'm having this conversation with a guest services cast member, and this is at like 4:00 in the afternoon. I had this whole conversation about can she switch it over, and she can't because blah 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 the park. Okay, well I'm in front of the cast member. Okay, and this is I hate saying this because I love cast members and I try to be nice to them, but they should know things. So in front of the cast member, I dumped my Tiana's virtual queue and upped a Guardians of the Galaxy virtual queue. This was at 4:00 and I still got one, and it was literally for just 2 hours later. That was crazy. But a cast member should have been able, especially a guest services cast member, should have been able to help me through that process. I should not know more as a guest than the cast member knows. And I shouldn't have been able to do that at like 4:00 in the afternoon either. And it was easy. And that virtual queue was still open till I think 5:30, 6:00 at night, at least. So anyway, that's what I have coming up. Long-winded, sorry.
I love cast members, but I can tell the difference between cast members who are on their A game and cast members who they're just kind of just there.
Yeah, when we were back home in the spring, when we went to the parks, you could vibe if a cast member was like having either a good day or a bad day. And there were moments where I didn't even bother telling them I was an annual pass holder because I was already getting attitude before I was just like, you know what, forget it. Mobile checkout, and that I love using it because I don't have to deal with any of them because I don't know what I'm going to get behind the counter. And that's sad to say that.
That cast member at the Emporium the other day, I could not believe when I was asking about an item that I didn't know if it was for sale, if it was just display, and without even looking at me, her back was still turned to me. She goes, it's just display. And that was it. That's all she said to me. She didn't no acknowledgement of that I was a human being there. And I'm like, whoa, what on God's green earth? I know you can have a bad day, but I'm sorry. You're on stage playing a role at the Magic Kingdom.
I don't think they're teaching them that anymore.
They're supposed to be.
Yeah, supposed to be and are they are two different things. I mean, something's amiss.
It's very amiss. I mean, I've had some people say, well, guests aren't the way that they used to be. It's like, no. Number one, not for nothing, but guests are paying their money to be there too. Either you know how to do customer service or you don't. There's a way of dealing with rude guests and a way of not dealing with rude guests. And after years of working retail in a freaking mall, I can tell you there's a way that you deal with people. And there used to be a time where Disney cast members were very good, especially at handling irate guests and diffusing the situation. If they didn't know where stuff was, they say, let me find someone else who does know so I can answer the question.
Yeah, you used to not be able to say, I don't know, as a cast member, and I cannot tell you how many times I've heard cast members say that in the last year. A lot, like all the time. And they used to not be allowed to say the words, I don't know. They would tell you, they would train you, if you don't know the answer, find another cast member who does know the answer, but never say, I don't know to a guest. And
I remember they years ago was, that's a good question. Come with me, we'll find out. And it was like, we'll find out together. But the whole I don't know. Yeah, I was never in the language.
Yep.
You know what? Because I had this issue when I was at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. Okay, so I'm trying to find the Winifred sipper, right? And I couldn't find it. So I figured, I'll ask a cast member. They should have had that mental download of what's available where and where to find it, especially items like that. I asked like 4 cast members. 3 of them had no freaking idea what I was talking about whatsoever. And I happened to be in the main, the bakery that used to be good, but now M&M Mars owns it or whatever. One cast member who actually knew what the heck I was talking about was like, I hear that you could possibly get that over in Sleepy Hollow. And I know what that nomenclature means. It's just like, yeah, it's over there. I'm like, thank you. You don't know where certain items are and you're working the party. That to me, that makes no freaking sense. And even if you don't know, like you were saying, Ron and Erica, it's like, I don't know, but let me find someone who does know.
My job was Disney Vacation Club. And let me tell you, as a Disney Vacation Club representative, you have to field every freaking question in the book that has nothing to do with Disney Vacation Club whatsoever. And I did it all the time. If somebody wanted to know during the Halloween party that I was working, I'm over at DVC booth, and they want to know where that kind of sipper is, I'm going to go quickly find another cast member, even if I have to leave my post, go all the way past the shooting range into that little store that's right there past the shooting range. There's like a little tiny gift shop. Find a cast member there and ask them. I will walk the guest over, find that cast member. They'll look up in the system where that particular item is, and we'll get it done. That's the way it used to be, and I just don't see that happening now, and it just bothers the Jesus out of me.
It is really bad when, I won't say bad, but I've been at the park where I've had people see me with a gimbal, and rather than ask a cast member, they will ask me.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. I'm like, no, they'll wait.
I've noticed that even on the daily vloggers, I've noticed guests will walk up to them and ask questions, and they won't approach a cast member. That's something I've been observing lately. Like, oh, it's interesting.
It is
interesting observation. There's something.
Yeah, sorry, honey. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You can go.
It's a weird thing. I'd never noticed that before. Like, people would just come up and just, ask questions, and they would kind of ask like they're scared to bother you.
It makes you want to go. It makes you want to go. Were you just recruited, from Walmart? Because that's the customer service level I get at Walmart.
And even at Walmart, if they don't know, they'll usually will tell, no, that's not my department. Go ask so and so. So at least you have a name to bounce off of. If they sent you to go to Bubba and Electronics, he knows where everything is.
That's true. Yep, I'm Bubba. I know where that 55-inch is.
He does.
Yeah, one of my nieces had. They went to Animal Kingdom for a field trip. And my sister, she was a chaperone, and they got there to the park. And apparently the way the tickets were done, someone had screwed up, and it was on Disney's part, the way they had allocated the tickets to the students, where, there was this huge mishap where one set of kids got into the park. And then when the second set of kids came in, they were saying, oh, well, these tickets are already have been scanned and they're in the park. So it was as though they were being accused of lying. And obviously it was just this huge mishap in the system and how the tickets were allocated to each student. And anyway, my sister told me she had to pull to the side 4 cast members that day.
Oh,
4 of them. And she ripped them each a very nice new one. Now, if you know her, she has a beautiful way of ripping someone a new one without ever using a cuss word. I don't know how she does it. It's like a fine art with her. And she will make you feel that big when she's done with you. And yeah, she she went back to her training. She worked for them for 12 years, and she was like, and
Y'all need that,
yeah, we had
right?
I was just like, and she's like, once upon a time, I knew I could make one phone call, and I'm like, oh, I know you could. She's like, can't do that anymore. I said, I know you can't. she was just so frustrated because, but yeah, she literally had to sit 4 different cast members in one sitting and literally take them down their training and retrain them on site. And she was just like, how do you not know this basic? Yeah, from basic customer service to just the way they were treated and the way the kids were treated. I mean, they finally got it fixed, but it took them, was it 2 hours? It was 2 hours. And the company not once even compensated. They did nothing. The attitude was, oh, well, at least you're here.
Yeah.
And at least you got in. That was the attitude.
That's so, I hate that because in contrast, and yes, I know I said I was going to wrap up, but try to wrap up. When I drive to Universal, there's a sign there, like the sign with the, the program sign flashes and it says, we love our pass holders. And I'm in the Epic Universe Preview Center, and I think I was on stream when it's happened. Team member comes by and she's just like, oh, if you have any questions about the park, please do, let me know. I'm like, thank you.
I noticed that the team members at Universal, something has changed. It's like, it's the weirdest thing. It's like it just flipped, right? Because I know Universal team members 5-6 years ago, very different story.
Yeah, they were salty.
It really is. It's like you almost feel like, wait, did everybody from Disney leave and go to Universal, and everybody from Universal leave and go to Disney? It's weird. It's just, I mean, like, it's very bizarre sometimes. I had a great time at Universal the other night. I was only there for a few hours. It was so cool. But I was blown away by the King Kong thing. I had no expectations for it, and I guess that's why my expectations were set very low. And I was like, "Oh, this is way better than I expected it was going to be." And I also ended up like literally a foot from King Kong's the animatronics face. I'm like, "Wow, that's impressive." So,
cool. Well, folks, as for me, because I owe you guys a do-over at Universal. So tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, I will be streaming from Universal Orlando Studios Park. We're going to go see the scare zones in the daylight. That's why I call it day walk. And the tribute store is going to be open to pass holders tomorrow as well. So we're going to go check out the inside of the tribute store. Universal dropped a video walkthrough of it. It looks so delightfully creepy. So I cannot wait to take you guys through there. I hope Universal, whatever y'all were working on last night that jammed my cell signal, I hope you're not doing it tomorrow morning. So my stream is clear as usual, but folks, that's what we're going to be doing over there tomorrow on my channel. Whole lots of Halloween Horror Night stuff coming up. So excited to be sharing it with you guys. And again, thank you so very much for supporting the show. We will be back next week, Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. More spicy conversation and hot takes. So you guys take care. And again, thanks for being here. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
All right, everyone, let's tidy things up.
Autobots, start your engines!
Not under the rug. We'll keep singing without fail, otherwise we'd spoil it.
Ready, Prime. Let's roll.
Hosing down the garbage pail and scrubbing up the toilet. Ooh.
That's all, folks.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.